I'm Cindy Cloward with Riley Blake Designs, and in the studio today is Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a long time. You
Yes.
filmed with us probably 4 or 5 years
Yes.
ago. We're glad to have you back. And you've designed this really gorgeous quilt.
So it's called Picnic Time, and we designed it with the Hello Lovely collection by Riley Blake and Amanda Herring. And we wanted to put something together that would really showcase the really cute novelty-ish fabric that Riley Blake puts together in the bright colors. It's very simple, so you can make it on a weekend, and we have a free pattern that you can get at Riley Blake Designs online. It's called Picnic Time.
You can download it, and it looks like this. And I love how you lay out your patterns. They're so easy to follow.
And we also are going to show you how you can turn just one block into a pillow. So if you wanted to have just a quick weekend project, you could do that. And for this project, you're going to use 12 fat quarters and then a background binding and backing. And at Fat Quarter Shop, of course, we make it super easy and put together really beautiful kits for you.
And I love how you do your bundles. And I really love that you used our backing, the Swiss dots.
Oh yeah, so Swiss dots are amazing. They're probably the best dot on the market. There's whites in the back, and then they also have a cream. And Lori Holt uses them in all her books. So if you're ever wondering, what's that dot in one of Lori's books, it's one of their dots.
Yeah, it makes a great ground. So I'm excited to learn how to make this quilt. It's beautiful with all the colors. It showcases a lot of colors, but you only need to learn to make one block.
Yes, so I'm going to show you the first block.
Okay, let's get started.
So when I cut fat quarters, the first thing I do is I starch my fabrics, I layer them together, and I will cut 4 fat quarters at one time.
Saves time.
Yep, and this quilt has 12 fat quarters, but I'm just going to do 4 at a time. So the first cut I'm going to make is a 4.5 inch width of fabric strip, or width of fat quarter strip. And we provide to you a really cool fat quarter diagram, or fat quarter cutting diagram, to make it super easy.
Oh, I like how you've done it.
So you don't really have to think.
Yes, that's perfect.
So I'm going to cut a 4.5 inch strip, and then I'm going to cut 2 3.5 inch strips. So I'm going to cut all my strips first.
And you just have to do that for your 12 blocks. Yep. You could do this in the afternoon, couldn't
Yes, super easy. And the biggest thing that we have found on our YouTube channel is people want quick and easy. That is what they love. When we do something difficult, they lose interest.
And we're so busy, and
Yes.
everyone still wants to make a handmade quilt,
Yes.
but they want to do it quickly.
Yes.
And this quilt, I appreciate that it looks like you spent a lot of time. And you did
Yes.
spend time, but not as much as it looks like you spent.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
So there's just a little bit left over, on the end, and I'm just going to save these. I would keep these at home and just keep them so that later when I need to make like a scrappy binding on a quilt like Lori does. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to subcut the first strip into 4 3.5 inch squares. Now I cut towards myself. Only do that if you're super comfortable. We get complaints on our YouTube channel, but I've never cut myself.
You're skilled at cutting towards yourself.
Well, I would rather cut towards myself than move the fabric, so it's just a personal preference.
You know what? I do turn the fabric because we got a lot of complaints when people are filming. So I always move it. So there you go.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
I should just do it.
I just kind of
not worry
say you
about
should
it.
just do what works for you. Whatever that is, do what works for you. And if people complain, that's okay. I like when they comment, but I can still do it my way. So the first,
I like that.
Yeah. So these are going to be our fabric E, and I am going to label them with our little alphabetties that we have.
And you have them in 3 different colors. And I really love the pink. And I think these are genius. They're so nice to work with your pattern. So
Thank you.
these are a great addition to your the pattern. So get some of these alphabetties. You'll love them.
And so what we do is we put them on, we take a Lori Holt design board that are made by Riley Blake Designs. It's got a nice batting on it. So when you put your fabric down with your alphabetties, it's not going to move, and you can walk to your sewing machine and nothing will move.
And it's labeled, and you don't have to remember, what is this square again? It's got the alphabetties right on top.
And if you're traveling, somewhere, what you can do if you need a packet is you can just put a wonder clip on it.
Great idea.
So we're going to subcut a 9.5 and 6.5 inch square rectangle. So
And that's your G.
that is my F and
your
G.
F box.
So this is F, and this will be G. And again, these little scraps, I'm going to keep them. Yep, and I'm going to do that one more time on the third strip.
So you just figure out on every one of your patterns, you have a cutout guide.
Yeah, because if you're using a pre-cut, I don't want people to have to think. You know, when you're in your sewing room, you know, for me, I have 4 kids. I don't have a lot of time. Sometimes I have 30 minutes the whole week. That's all I have. I don't want to have to go in and think. And if I buy someone's pattern and I have to think, I'm like, it's just a waste of my time when I could be sewing or making something or.
So you've made your patterns all efficient.
Yes.
I can appreciate that.
Yes, I want them to be super, super easy so people can just use their time efficiently in their sewing rooms. So now we've got E, F, and G done.
We only have H left.
Yep, and this we just need 2 3.5 inch squares. So I'll just cut these really quick. I'm gonna turn this around. I didn't get it perfectly square. So these are H. I would continue cutting until you have all 12 of your fat quarters cut. And again, this little strip, I would just keep it for binding. Don't get rid of it. It's nice, big, chunky fabric. And on our next step, what we're going to show you is how the background fabric is cut. And you can just go ahead and cut that, and then we'll be ready to move on to the block. So we've cut all of our fat quarters. Now you can refer to your free pattern and cut your background fabrics. And just place it on a design board with your alphabetties, and we can move on to assembling the block. Now, I don't know about you, Cindy, but I love Aurifil thread.
I love Aurifil too.
So I usually use color 2000, but this Swiss Dots is great with color 2021, so I actually got a new spool for this quilt. And this block is very simple. You're just going to be using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I use about a 1.8 inch stitch length. That's a little short for some people, so use whatever you're comfortable with. The first thing you're going to do is put 2 fabric A rectangles and 1 fabric H square together. Press according to your pattern, and you need 2 of these for each block. Then you're going to put 2 fabric B and 1 fabric F together, and you need 2 from each block. Then you're going to do 2 fabric Gs and 1 fabric B, and you only need 1 of these for each block.
That's your center.
Yeah, it's super simple. So we're going to pull the center away, put it to the side for now. And then what we're going to do is the top and the middle, we're going to put those together. And what I like to do, even though this is a beginner quilt and there's not any bias seams, I'm still going to pin a lot. I feel like you're going to get a better result the more you pin. So this is about how many pins I would put in. Just sew that together with a 1/4 inch seam, and it will look like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add corner squares to the top left and top right, and Cindy's going to help me.
And those are your 2 pieces. You're going to do right sides together, so you're going to flip it over.
And she's using a friction pen, so I love to use friction pens because the ink is going to disappear with heat later. It is very controversial. Some people don't like it. If you don't like it, don't use it, but I love it. I can't even tell you how many friction pens I have in my house, all the colors. So she's...
Mine stopped working, so I never replaced it. I'm going to get another one and start working.
Well, they have new
again.
colors, and they have new markers, and they have new highlighters. It's a great product. I only use the pens, but I do have all the colors. So I am just putting these, like she said, right sides together. And I'm going to put about 3 pins in, which can be a little excessive, but when I get to the sewing machine, I don't want it to move. So we're going to stitch directly on those lines.
Okay, let's take it to the machine and sew. pins. I have a little fabric between, but I don't right now, so we'll just use our threads. Do you sew standing up when you're on set? No.
Oh, on set?
Yes.
Yeah.
You do?
But not in real life.
Not in real life,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and when people come to film, they're like, you do this? I'm like, oh, just for like 5 minutes. So I'm going to remove the pins. I like to use Grab-Its just because you can pick up the pins really quick. Then we're going to use one of Lori's wonderful cute cut rulers. We're going to trim 1/4 inch away from that sewn line. And then we're going to iron. So when I iron, I always set my seam. So I set the iron, literally just set your seam. I love this iron. I love the Aliso iron, and I'm gonna have to get a pink one.
And I can't believe you don't have a pink already.
I know, like how is that possible?
Yes, I have a pink on set and a pink one at home.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna get one of those tomorrow. So we've got that, it looks good like that. We're gonna do that one more time, and it will look like this. Then we're gonna pull that middle piece out that we had and use that same technique where you pin. I would sew these together, press, then I would add these and press.
What's so nice, you don't have to match at any point.
Yeah, no
So
points.
it really is
Yes.
a great beginner block.
Yes, and it's beautiful. Even though it's beginner,
is.
it doesn't
It's
look
darling.
beginner. And I mean, how cute is that?
It's adorable.
So super easy. You can probably make a block in 20 minutes. And now we're going to show you how you turn it into a pillow.
Well, Kimberly, this is an adorable pillow. I love this. Show me how you finish it off to make a pillow.
So we just took our block and added borders to it, and of course the instructions are in the free pattern, and then we quilted it with Soft and Stable. This is a wonderful product that I just learned about 2 years ago. I use it on any pillow, any table runner, any small project. It is very soft and very stable. So I actually quilted it without a muslin on the back, so you could see you really don't have to have the muslin if you use this product because it doesn't peel off. And it's just gonna stay nice and in place, and also it's gonna really show off your quilting. So you don't have to quilt as much because it's gonna show up, but it comes in both white and black, and it's a by Annie product. It was developed for bags, but I love it on pillows and table runners because I don't know how to make bags.
Yeah. It's great.
So-
It looks wonderful.
So your next step, and I'm gonna give all the credit on this to Lori Holt because she taught me how to do this years ago.
She
And-
always has the best ideas.
Yes, and this is the instructions she uses in all of her books that Itsoma publishes. So you're gonna have 2 fabric J rectangles. You're gonna put those wrong sides together and press and get a really nice crease, that's important. And then we are gonna put the fold in the center, and I'm gonna line it up on the mat so that we keep it nice and straight. And again, your fold in the center. Then I'm also going to take...
So it makes an automatic lining.
It does.
Folding it.
Yes. So when you do this, you actually, some people will do this with a single fabric, but then you have to sew a stitch on the inside. Like you would have to sew a stitch here, and that's just like a waste of time. Like I don't want to do that.
This simplifies. Use a
Yes.
little more fabric, but
Yes.
simplifies the whole process.
Yes, and it also makes it super, I guess, you know, it makes it a little bit puffier too. So I'm just going to put some pins in here to hold this together. And then since we have overlapped this at 4 inches, so 2 inches would be the 14-inch mark. I'm going to take this and just mark the center. It doesn't have to be exact. Put it on here.
Because you're trimming the excess.
Yep. I'm going to trim the excess. And, you know, people think that this is a waste, but when I have done it where you don't trim it, I just don't have as good of results because when you get it on your sewing machine, it moves. And I just feel like, you know, if you waste an inch of fabric, it'll be okay. So what you want to do here is pin all the way through all the layers, all around. Because when you pick this up to go to your sewing machine, it is going to move. And you also don't want it to, because yeah, like this has happened to me a million times, where it shifts. So what you'll do once you have it pinned all the way around with lots of pins all the way through all the layers, then take it to your sewing machine and use a stitch length of 3 to 4 and just stitch 1/8 of an inch in. Then come back, look at it, and make sure that nothing has gone inside, because I can't tell you how many times I've made a pillow and then I've got some fabric that's not supposed to be there. So make sure it's all in there. Then trim around the edge, and you will just add binding just like you would add to any quilt. You just do the binding the same way. And on the back, it looks just like this. It's beautiful. It's got a nice opening. You can take it out and wash it.
It's such a smart idea.
Yeah, and the Soft and Stable washes really well. It's not gonna bubble or fall apart. It's gonna stay nice and sturdy for you.
So I love how this looks, and it looks so great to go with your quilt. So how do you finish up your quilt?
So in the pattern that we have free on the Riley Blake website, we have finished it with 12 blocks, 3 across the top, 4 down, and we have just added sashing and borders with the Swiss dots.
And then I love the binding you used, the same pink binding.
Yep.
You can find this pattern on RileyBlakeDesigns.com, also Fat Quarter Shop, and they even have kits to make this beautiful quilt.
And we would love to see all of your items, so share with us on social media, just hashtag Picnic Time Quilt, and we would love to see what you're making with Riley Blake fabrics.
It's just that easy.